All right, thank you for staying with us. The conversation, as we earlier said, is about the proposed, strike. Protest rather. Yeah, protest that has been scheduled for August, maybe August 1st. And in some quarters, it has been said maybe to be hunger, protest against hunger. And some are saying is protest against bad governance. But then what we know for sure is there is a planned protest. And then there have been many persons that have been calling for caution, that these must not end up in a way that will not benefit anybody. They are talking about the dimension that it might take, the violent dimension, knowing fully well what ended the end SARS protester, and, traditional rulers, politicians, opinion molders have been saying, okay, the government should dialogue with the planners of the protest, call the young people, speak to them, give them your assurances and be sincere with them. And some are saying, give us more time. The handlers of the government are saying, give us more time. We are hearing you, but your grievances should be shelved. We are addressing the matter. But in some quarters in government, some of them are being bullish about it, making it to look like you people should not approach, the street at all. It is not good for us at this time. A state governor has even gone ahead to address his people to say, my people, don't join them. The security situation in our state. That's Babangana Zulum of Borno State. We can't afford this. Please stay calm. We're addressing the matter. I, your governor, am with you. That's on one side. And of course, the NLC has spoken on the matter because they feel they have been accused as being part of the process. And some of the people are telling them to back down. They are saying they cannot back out of a protest that they are not organizing. So it's a lot. The IGP of police is saying the body language and his speech has been showing that he is not in support of the march. And people are saying, you're a security agency. Your agency should be protecting protesters against invaders, against hoodlums, against hijackers. But it seems you are not ready for that as well. Many things will unravel this morning about that protest that have been slated for August 1st in different parts of the nation. And the new development in Lagos, we had yesterday that the Oro festival will be happening, from August 1st, and till August 14th or 15th. Many persons are saying, why this at this time, different conspiracy theory. But we have been joined by civil rights activist, and of course, is a public affairs analyst, and of course, somebody who I feel and I know has been involved in protests before. Comrade FEMI LAWSON, he joins us virtually. Thank you for joining us, comrade. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. FEMI.
Yes, I believe you heard my introductions. What's your take?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that this is not the first time that Nigerians or group of Nigerians will be planning to protest over one issue or the other. But why this is becoming a headline issue over the past couple of days is the fact that government and its agents have tried in so many ways to criminalize what ordinarily is guaranteed in the Constitution that has brought them to power. It is also sad that the incumbent administration and its operatives are trying to, burn what looks like the bridge that it also rode on to power, that is protest. It must be stated that protest is a fundamental right, not just a fundamental right, it is a constitutionally guaranteed right of Nigerians, and no amount of these emotions or attempts to criminalize it should be welcomed by Nigerians. I am somebody who is an advocate of dialogue. I still strongly believe that even the days left to the commencement of the planned protest is enough for government to engage Nigerians in dialogue, but government and its agents must stop criminalizing protest and making it look as if the people who are planning the protest have declared a war against the country. It is not a war. And if there is a fear of violence, I think the fear of violence should be coming from the point and from the part of the protesters, not from government, because it is on record that most times when you have violence during peaceful protests or processions by citizens, it is usually on record that these violence are usually sponsored by agents of government and sometimes government itself. The recent history that they have tried to refer to, which is the HENSAS, which is not the only protest we have had in Nigeria, justifies my position. For about 19 days, young people in Nigeria were all over the streets of Ibadan, Oshogbo, Ugeli, Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, demanding for an end to police brutality. But what happened? It got to a point that government began to sponsor hoodlums, some in official government vehicles, like we saw in Abuja and some other states. We got to a point that with non-political thugs were sponsored to attack peaceful protesters. What were these young people doing? Sitting down, singing, addressing themselves in Alausa, sharing food and water, galvanizing support locally and internationally, demanding an end to police brutality. It turned out that the first experience of violence were from people sponsored by non-supporters of government. That didn't end there. The greatest form of violence witnessed during ENSAS was unleashed on these young people by the Buhari regime when it sent soldiers with live ammunition to Lekki toll gates, where young people were gathered for a vigil in furtherance of their protest and unleashed mayhem on them. And the whole aftermath of it was what we saw on the 21st of October 2020, when this violence snowballed into a major destruction of properties and lives, which starts condemnable, killing of innocent policemen, killing of innocent civilians. So governments, in fact, should be the ones that Nigerians should be warning now that there should be no violence, not the organizers of this protest.
Interesting one there. And, just like you rightly said, it is the people that should fear, for their lives, the protesters, and call the government to say protect us. But the agency, just like I said, that agency, saddled with that responsibility, the Nigerian police, the IGP, is speaking in a tone that looks like we are not for these, we won't support you. And, and many persons will say, really, before we even get into the nitty-gritty of why we are here and what the people are demanding for, how come when it's the people feel grieved and they feel wronged and they feel they have been talking, the people in power are not listening and they want to protest? You now see agencies of the government, parastatals, making it to look like you should not do that. Very recently, there have been some overbearing actions of the EFCC in the manner they be going about their duty in Akure, going to places, shorting schools, busting people's doors. And, there have been videos, even when they try to deny, of some of their members caning people, hitting young people with batons of snooker, snatching wigs of ladies' head just because you want to do your work. And students, young people are saying, we have had enough of this. And you see the EFCC come out to say, no, it's the people who are crime-prone that are sponsoring this, and nobody should protest. Instead, weeks later, we saw some kind of solidarity walk in support of the EFCC. And one we're going to wonder, how did we get to a level that the EFCC is now saying the people should not protest, even when they feel aggrieved, yet can afford to have people walk the street in what they call solidarity support for the EFCC, NDLEA, the Nigerian police, politicians, and just like you said, people who rose to power on the heels of protest. The 2012 Occupy Nigeria videos are everywhere, and some of these people are now in government, and they are now the ones saying we should not protest. Is it really a party thing, or is a Nigerian thing that whenever things are not right with you, you can always hit the street, but the moment you are in power, you now begin to speak against those things? Is that who we are as Nigerians, or is politics that has taken over and we have gotten this low?
Well, I would not totally say that is who we are as Nigerians. It's just so unfortunate that a lot of people in power are people who are mere opportunists, who pretended to be, part of those who seek progress, but are not really progressive in the real sense of it. Today, if you look at the history of people like Mr. FEMI and SAN, you realize the level of consistency that he has maintained. Not just 2 days ago, he came out openly to state the same position that government is a sponsor of violence during protest. We have had people who have protested at all times, when it matters in Nigeria without compromising, despite their relationship with government, or even if they have had opportunity to be in government. Just like I said, a lot of these people are just opportunists who have pretended to be progressives, who are not really progressive. As I speak with you, there are people in the last couple of days who have organized protests against the planned protests in Lagos. Now, what is the protest about? People want to come out with placards, with banners, talk to the media, and express their anger over the current situation in their own country. You say, no, it is wrong. They must not come out. Everybody should stay at home. Whereas you are organizing people to hit the same streets in your support because you think, you can see the contradiction in this and in the way this political class reason. Oh, you don't come to the streets. It may be hijacked by hoodlums. But some people have organized themselves and have come to the streets to say, no, we don't want protests. To stay, we want government, we want to give government time. Hoodlums didn't hijack that. Why are you now sure that it is protests being organized to express people's displeasure that hoodlums were hijacked? I want to believe that the police under the current leadership of Mr. Egbeto, who I've known for a long time, will be professional. And I don't think he has said at any time that people should not protest. He has said that they will not ensure, that they will not allow destruction of properties and lives of Nigerians in the course of the protest, which is, of course, the mandate of the police. Police duty is to give protection to Nigerians, whether protesting or not. So it is not within the power of the police to stop protests. You don't even need the permit of the police to protest. But it is very unfortunate, just like you said, that when it favors those who are in power, they can easily organize protests. Look at the instance of the EFCC. People protested against the harassment and brutality of the EFCC. Oh, the EFCC chairman came and said, oh, they were sponsored. They were sponsored against the EFCC. Only a few days after, you mobilized people in Port Harcourt, in Ibadan, in Abuja, in Lagos, on the solidarity work for EFCC. Who sponsored it? Did you also sponsor it? Did you also pay those people who came out to say, oh, let EFCC do its work? That is the contradiction in the system. The moment you have a dissenting opinion, you are sponsored. But when you are doing their bid, you are not sponsored, you are progressive. And that's what the job must be mindful of, that in demanding for what is right, you shouldn't unnecessarily be concerned about how people, particularly those in government fields, they will never be comfortable whenever they have to be called out. What are citizens talking about? You can hardly go to the market with money today and come on with anything reasonable as foodstuff. It got to a point in this same country a few weeks ago, even with your money, you cannot buy tomatoes. Rice remains, a commodity that ordinary household cannot afford again. And you're saying people should sit down now. Good. The administration, you must give it to it, is addressing issues. But is it enough? Is it enough when, okay, you are giving us 70,000 naira, and fuel that was taken to 600 naira, when you purportedly remove subsidy, is being bought for 800 naira today. I bought petrol for 800 naira per litre yesterday. So what is the benefit of the 70,000 naira that you are giving as minimum wage? And some other fundamental issues, that you cannot import car into Nigeria today. You have to pay more than you bought the car and shipped the car from America, in clearing it in Lagos. So these are the issues that have affected people's businesses, people's means of livelihood. And you're saying they should not come out and express. And the government is behaving as if it's not aware. So the only way you can make government aware of some of these pains is to come out and express yourself in peaceful manner. I'm opposed to any form of protest that will be violent or that will lead to violence. But it is not the protesters alone that have a duty to ensure that protests do not become violent. It is the job of the security agencies to arrest anyone who attempt to unleash violence during a peaceful protest.
All right, Comrade Lawson, but the government have, has said over time that they are aware of what is happening. They are aware that the economy is hard on the people. They are aware that people really do not have food to eat. And the president has pleaded with the people over and over again for them to shelve this protest because he is aware of the hunger in the land. He is aware of the economic crisis. The Oba of Benin has pleaded to the people to give the government more time. FEMI Falana is calling on the government to dialogue with the leaders of this protest. And also, there's also the question of who are the leaders of this protest. But let me first ask you, the government says it is aware of the hunger, the economic crisis in the country. Is that not enough for the people to shelve this protest and give the government of the day, give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu more time as advised by the Oba of Benin?
Is awareness an economic theory or a practical solution to our problems? Anybody can be aware of your problem. Even the international community is aware. Even in your household, your pets may not be aware because maybe you have been feeding them 3 times, they are not being fed twice. Even the non-living things around us may be aware. So that the government is aware, I don't think that is in any way related to what is called solution. What is government doing to address these issues? That is what Nigerians want to know. It is not about his awareness of the president or his cabinet. Everybody is aware. The awareness is not an economic theory, it's not an economic solution. You can be aware, but what are you doing to bring down this inflation rate that is going up almost every minute? If you buy something in the market this morning, if you go back in the evening, the price will change. What is government doing to address the issue of food insecurity? What is government doing to address this question of insecurity in the land? Only a few days ago, coppers in my state who were returning from Enugu were abducted. They have to pay a ransom of over 5 million to get their freedom. In Kogi, it was day before yesterday. What is government doing to make sure that our farmers can go back to farm? Government is not saying all this. Government is saying it's aware. I don't think Nigerians are interested in awareness. Nigerians are interested in key solutions. And if government is able to provide key solutions or at least tell Nigerians what it is doing to address these fundamental problems, I think it is enough for Nigerians to give government more time. But that you are aware, you are expected to be aware, of course, because that is why you are elected into position of leadership.
All right, so the NLC has, released a statement saying that they are not part of this. They didn't call for this protest because there were reports of the NLC withdrawing from the protest, and they released a statement saying we were not even part of this protest ab initio. Now, I'd like to ask you, who do you think are the leaders of this protest? Even if the government wants to dialogue with the leaders of this protest, who are they? And do you think they would be willing to talk to the government, speak to the government on a roundtable on this matter? During the EndSARS protest, people thought because it didn't have leaders, the protest didn't have leaders, that was why it snowballed into the crisis and, hoodlums hijacking it. And we want to have another protest where the leaders are not known. Who are we going to hold responsible when things, blows out of proportion?
Things hopefully should not blow out of proportion if the relevant authorities do their work, particularly the police. If it ensures that the hoodlums are not allowed to perpetrate violence and that whoever perpetrates violence is severely dealt with, I don't think they'll be. But the question of leadership, this is a peculiar situation because it is not a union or a group of people alone that is behind these agitations or that are affected by the concerns that have been raised over this planned protest. It's an issue that has affected us as Nigerians as a whole, except there are those who maybe patronize separate markets, fuel stations, and the likes. But I don't think there's any household in Nigeria today that is not affected with what is happening to the economy. That the government wants to talk to the leadership to shelve the strike, I don't think is necessary at this time. What is most important at this time is for government to address the issues. These issues are not being raised by a group, just like I said. It's an issue that is affecting the average Nigerian, whether the one speaking or not. I think government should focus more on addressing the issues than wanting to identify the leaders. And as we speak, nobody would even come out as it is to identify as leaders of this protest, especially when government agents are threatening, citizens who are planning to protest. Only a few days ago, about 2 activists in the northern part have been arrested and detained over this planned protest. And you want to meet the leaders so that people can come and identify them, they are rounded up and detained. No, nobody is ready to do that. Government must show sincerity by addressing the issues, and I think that is one shortcut to preventing the impending protest, if government is really serious about it.
All right, Comrade Lawson, we crave your indulgence to go for this break. When we return, we'll still be speaking to the issue at hand on the proposed protest coming up in August. Do not go anywhere. Morning Spring will be right back.